I'm telling you. I'm telling you, Guy. You would kill your own mother and eat her. I know you would. Don't lie to me. Holiday decorations for the solstice. Holiday decorations. Holiday decorations for the solstice. Holiday decorations all over the world are different. I like the solstice. And I don't mind that there's a religious overlay. No matter what country you go to, the traditions are different. And that adds diversity to the world and makes life interesting. I enjoy life, but I'm not afraid of death. Mostly because I have medical conditions that put me that far every hour of every day from the great beyond, from the revelation of the great cosmic mystery, whether there's consciousness after death or not. And the ancient religions understood that. That's why the solstice is so important, and the hidden meaning in the religious holidays, the hidden meaning in the decorations for the solstice all over the world. But let's get to something a little more frivolous, a little more facetious. Back some time ago, maybe 20, 30 years, there was the War of the Colas between the two popular brands of cola. When I was in middle school, or what we called grammar school, I had a friend who brought the War of the Colas to a knockdown, drag-out fight. This was his favorite cola. Which ironically, I switched to this cola now. I think it's much better than the other brand. While when I was in grammar school, I used to argue with the guy what brand of cola was better. And in middle school, or grammar school as we called it, this was my favorite cola. But you know, one of the reasons I switched brands to this other one is because the corporation took the magical sparkling ingredient out of the classic cola. The backstory is sometime in the late 60s, 1960s, there was an inspection of a warehouse. I can't remember the details. I have it in a clipping file somewhere. They found radioactive material stacked up against desiccated coca leaves. The radioactive waste was in 50-gallon drums, and it was sitting right next to the desiccated cola leaves that were destined to the cola manufacturer, my favorite brand at that time. And the corporation executives got panicky, so they removed the classic from the shops for a while, until they thought people probably would forget the magical ingredient. And ever since then, I switched to this brand because to me it tastes better now that they took the magical ingredient out of the other cola. So, my grammar school friend won the battle of the colas. Happy holidays. Prost. Skål. Toast. Salute. Have a good New Year and enjoy your holidays. I mean that sincerely. And thank you for watching this video. Yay! We already went through nursery rhymes at the mall. I mentioned in one of the past videos that a friend of my mother's child had a pop-up book. We're going back to the 1940s. A long time ago for most of you people. I had never seen a pop-up book before. I believe the pop-up book was about Christmas, and it had Christmas trees and reindeer that popped up. I like pop-up books. I bought several of them. I bought several of the pop-up books because I think they're funny. They made me laugh. This one especially, my grandmother having English ancestry, and this was also in a past video, whenever we had problems, little problems or big ones, her answer was always, sit down and have a nice cup of tea. That's what she would say. And this was one of her favorite nursery rhymes. And I'm trying to be facetious. I'm trying to be funny. She would stand there, this stout little woman. She couldn't have been more than 5'2" maybe. And she would put her hands on her sides and say, in a sing-song voice, I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout, tip me over and pour me out. That's what my grandmother on my mother's side used to recite that poem when she was making tea. That's how she amused herself. The memory is very vivid. She died peacefully in her bed at home. We didn't have these push dolls, push stuffed dolls when I was younger. These are a relatively new invention. Allegedly, Thomas Edison did have a doll for girls that had a string on it and a little record inside, a little vinyl or metal record, and you pulled on the string and the girl doll would say mama or something like that. But it never worked properly because it wore out quickly. You can imagine kids yanking on the string. So these push dolls are really curious, and sadly, like everything in this world, there's probably military application. There's probably military application, sorry to say, for talking animatronic robots. Maybe a robot army that recites nursery rhymes so the enemy could laugh themselves to death.
Here, sweetheart, I'm going to tell you some of your favorite nursery rhymes. Let's start off with Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Now, how about Hickory Dickory Dock? Hickory Dickory Dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck one, the mouse ran down. Hickory Dickory Dock. Let's try Little Miss Muffet. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider who sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Next, let's do Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. And now, let's do This Little Piggy. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef. This little piggy had none. This little piggy went wee, 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 all the way home. Oh, I know. Let's do Little Bo Peep. Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep and doesn't know where to find them. Leave them alone, and they'll come home, wagging their tails behind them. Last but not least, Twinkle, Twinkle. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Sweet dreams, my darling. Good night.
Mother Goose